So you want to build financial freedom. I hear you, but you don't know where to start. You don't know what path to take. This video is for you. Hey everyone, I'm Clayton Morris, longtime real estate investor, entrepreneur. I'm the founder of Morris Invest, which is a full service rental real estate company. Now, I built financial freedom, but it wasn't easy. There were a lot of steps along the way. I'm going to teach you in this video. Consider this really a master class on building financial freedom. We're going to deep dive a number of different strategies in this video. We're going to show you the program that we take our clients through at Morris Invest. We're going to talk about the different strategies and tactics that you will need to employ if you want to be a successful real estate investor and to build passive income for you and your family. See, I believe real estate investing is the ultimate way to build wealth. It is at the top of the list at the federal government level for tax incentives, tax benefits, cash flow. When you are a real estate investor, you are at the top of the list. See, what I mean is the federal government and the U.S. tax code benefits real estate investors perhaps more than any other form of wealth building. More millionaires have been made because of real estate than any other form of investing. Fact. But there are plenty of internet gurus out there that are going to tell you just set it and forget it. It's so easy that cash flow will just come to you, passive income will just rain down upon you. It doesn't work that way. And we're going to show you though the way to do it step by step in this video. I think it's important before we start to have some frame of reference, some context for who I am. Again, I'm Clayton. I founded Morris Invest as a way to give people access to real estate investing. If they're busy doctors, lawyers, it doesn't matter who you are, what stage of your life. If you want to invest in real estate, you should be able to. See, the reason I founded Morris Invest is that I believe people should have access to these types of performing assets no matter where they live across the country and around the world. That you could buy a fully built, brand new property from the ground up that has a tenant already in place that's cash flowing. That's what I do, and that's what our team is great at. But there's a lot of pieces that go into making that happen. And I want to teach you how to do it in this video. I want to take you through the exact process that we use internally so that you can do it yourself. I want you to be able to go out and find a great property, do all of these things yourself, build a portfolio of cash flowing real estate that will provide for your family for years to come. It's called legacy wealth, folks. It's not just financial freedom. It's truly building legacy wealth, generational wealth for you and your family. You know, I've grown up with a lot of limiting beliefs around money, and maybe you were like me. You know, I always heard, money doesn't grow on trees. We're not the Rockefellers. We can't afford that. It was always a fear-based approach to money. And it wasn't until I was in my 30s that I finally overcame that and started to conquer money, realized that money flows through us. If you try to hold on to it and hoard it, that's when you lose. And real estate investing is very much that way. You're going to have a vacancy in a property from time to time. You're going to have a roof that needs repairing from time to time. But it's all part of the process. And if you understand these pieces at the beginning, you won't be disappointed later. All right, you ready to dive in? Great, let's do it. And if you skip this part, you are in for a rude awakening. I really think it's important to start with your why. W-H-Y. Why? Why do you want to be financially free? And I also want you to identify what your why is in your life. You see, real estate investing might not be for you. There might be some other thing that you should be doing. Maybe you should be doing day trading in the stock market because it speaks to you. So one of the first things that we do at our company at Morris Invest, when someone books a call with us, we give them a PDF that they have to fill out before they get on the phone with us. And we call it our purpose-driven goals checklist. We want to understand what it is that their first driven goal is in life. What do they want? Why are they doing this? Why did they book a call with us? Because we might be out of alignment. And it's very important for you at the beginning of this financial freedom journey to answer this question. Do not skip over it, folks, because you might disappoint yourself in the long run. Why do you want to invest in real estate? Why do you want passive income? Why do you want to have cash flow that's coming in every month? You see, there are some people that want to work for other people. They enjoy it. They never want to stick their neck out. They don't want to be entrepreneurs. They don't want to own real estate. They simply want to work for other people, clock in, clock out, come home at 5 p.m., flip on Netflix, have a bottle of beer, and call it a day. If that's you, then this is probably not the best thing for you. But you really need to get in touch with why you want to create passive income. So let's dive deep into that question. For me, I wanted to be able to spend more time with my family. I did not want to answer to a boss ever again. You see, a number of years ago, I lost my job, and I vowed I never wanted this to happen again and feel that way. You know, I worked for a television station in Philadelphia, and they decided one day that they just wanted to end my contract. They hired me for a year, and they said, you know what, we want to take the show in a hard news direction. You're kind of a fun, morning show guy. We want to take it in a murder, if it bleeds, it leads kind of way. And that's not you. And I'm like, you're right, that's not me. So they just didn't renew my contract, and I was out of a job, and I was devastated. And I flashed back to being 12 years old, watching my father, who worked for a company. He was downsized. He lost his job, and I'll never forget on that Friday afternoon when he came home, and he was just devastated. He was pacing around the kitchen. He was so angry. He's like, I'm going to sue them. I don't know what I'm going to do. He was just so angry. But they just downsized him, cut his department. He was gone. And that was it. He was just a number on a spreadsheet. That's it. And I vowed then, when I lost my job in Philadelphia a number of years ago, that it would never happen again, where I would let a boss tell me the future of my life, control my destiny. So for me, that was my why. I wanted to be able to build something that I controlled, that I would never be out of control with money again. I could shatter all of those limiting beliefs that I had around money when I was growing up. So what is your why? One of the things we ask on our checklist here is, what is my biggest fear in getting started? So you may ask yourself, well, okay, why am I nervous about doing this? And that's one of the things on our checklist. Why do I want to do this? It may be that you don't want to spend 2 hours commuting to and from work anymore. Maybe you don't want to have to get up and at 6 in the morning and do Zoom calls, sales calls with people, because it just bothers you so much. You don't like doing it. Maybe it's that you don't get to see your kids on the weekend. You don't get to go to the soccer games, and you want to spend more time with your family. Maybe it's that you just want to be able to not have to worry about money, and you need that safety net, and cash flow from real estate is that safety net. Whatever it is, write it down. Figure it out and put pen to paper. It'll give you a lot of clarity. Another question we ask on the checklist is, what would my life look like if I don't take action today and get started? This is a really powerful question, because guess what? Nothing changes until something moves. Remember this. It's an amazing quote that changed my life. Nothing changes unless something moves. So if you're watching this video right now, you clicked on it for a reason. You want to start building financial freedom and cash flow. So what about that motivation made you click on this video? There's something calling you in a certain way to take action in your life. Is it not? I know it's there. There's something there motivating you to do that. Well, what would it look like if you don't do anything today? Guess what? You're going to be in the same position today as you were yesterday and the day before and the day before that. You're going to be miserable that you had to get up and drive 2 hours to work, get stuck in traffic, listen to a boss, make another company rich off of your hard work. It's not your company. You're working for somebody else. You don't have any savings to show for your family and kids. You're relying on a crappy 401k, which is awful. Got plenty of videos where you know my feelings about the 401k. Awful retirement vehicle. You're making other people wealthy, the financial planners, and the money that people make off of your 401k. So what is it? How would this look different tomorrow if you started taking action today? Write it all down, okay? Understanding your why is the first step to build financial freedom. And I'm going to say this before we move on. If you discover in this exercise that you love working for somebody else, that you really can't figure out why you would want to invest in real estate, that you like working for other people, you like making other companies wealthy, you enjoy the 2-hour commute because it allows you to listen to podcasts and get time away and clear your head on the road, then this might not be the answer, right? If you can't figure out a why, then you might as well just stop right here. If you have been able to figure out your why and you know what it is, and that's why you clicked on this video, Let's move on. The second step in our journey is to figure out your financial freedom number. This is a powerful tool that we developed a number of years ago. This PDF is like 3 pages long. It's been downloaded hundreds of thousands of times from our website, and it's changed lives. I'm not patting myself on the back. It's nothing revolutionary, but it is the eureka moment that happened to my wife and I one night when we were so frustrated and scared about having my job renewed as another contract. What are we going to do? We sat there and said, wait a second. What if we could take my job, the money that I'm making from my salary, and we could reverse engineer it? We could figure out how many rental properties would it take for us to have passive income coming in every month that would cover that salary, that would cover essentially our monthly expenses. You know, we were basically living paycheck to paycheck. And I have to say, one night my wife came to my office and she said, we can't pay the mortgage this month. And I said, what? I'm making a 6-figure salary. We have 2 kids at the time. I thought we were doing pretty darn well. What are you talking about? And I just didn't have a good handle on our expenses and our numbers. And she said, we can't. So I had to go through my house. I mean, think about this as a man. You know, this is something it speaks to me as a provider, right? As a husband. It really was crushing. And I went through my house and I had to find old electronics. I had an old camera and I had some old CDs and things, and I sold them on Craigslist. I put some stuff on eBay. I went crazy like a dog with a bone. I said, I'm gonna pay my mortgage. I've got to. And I figured out, I went through the house and cut some expenses, found some things to sell, and I did it. But I did not know what it would take for me to be financially free. So a week or so later, we were sitting in my home office and my wife said, she said, what if we could figure out how many rental properties would it take for us to invest in, where every month we had $700, $1,000, $1,200 coming in cash flow from our rental properties that would cover all of our expenses. And I said, oh my God, that's it. Eureka. And I jumped up with a dry erase marker and ran over to the whiteboard, and she said, okay, I'm going to go do some laundry. I said, you're not going anywhere. That's it. And that night, our financial freedom cheat sheet was born. Now, we have a link in the description below. I want you to download it and go through it. Now, I'm going to lay it out for you right here in this video. So you can download it later or download it right now. I don't care. But I want to lay it out for you and break it down step by step so you understand how powerful this tool is for building financial freedom. The first thing that I want you to do is I want you to look at all of your expenses. Okay, I want you to take 6 months of your expenses, not counting the Christmas holiday, because that always throws everything off, right? Everyone's spending more than they should. I want you to take like February through the end of the summer, okay? Take those months and I want you to get granular. Don't lie to yourself. I want you to pull up your credit card statements. I want you to pull up your bank statements, everything. Everywhere that you're spending money, print them out. 6 months worth, I want you to look at these numbers. And I want you to see where your money is going. Right off the top, you're going to discover that, oh my gosh, you are wasting a boatload of money on random crap that you didn't even know you were spending money on. This is a good audit to do every few months anyway. But for this exercise, I want you to find, you're going to find you're paying twice for Netflix. You're going to, some software that you paid for, you didn't even realize you were paying for it. You signed up for some app subscription on iTunes for your kids 4 years ago and you're still paying for it. Look through everything with a fine-tooth comb. Then, after you get all these numbers, I want you to take the average of those 6 months. So if February you're spending to live, I'm talking purely to live, groceries, gasoline, your mortgage on your house, your rent in your apartment, your entertainment, your Netflix subscriptions, all of these things. What is that number in February? Is it 4,000? What is it in March? Is it 4,500? And I'm going to take 6 months of that, find the average. Does it come out to about 5,000? Is it 3,000? This is the number that it takes for you to live comfortably every month. It's covering all of your expenses. Take the average. What is that number? Okay, is it $5,000? Great. Then I want you to pad it, P-A-D, I want you to pad it by 10%, okay? Add a little bit because of you want to go an extra meal out to dinner, an extra movie night with your spouse, whatever it happens to be. Pad it by 10% because unexpected things come up. And that gives us enough of a buffer zone to get a really good financial freedom number, okay? Then when we look at that number, that is going to be the number that will tell you what it takes for you to live comfortably. That's the number that drives your family. Imagine having that cash flow every month that's coming in $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 in passive income cash flow from your rental properties that could totally cover your life, all of your expenses. You wouldn't need to drive to that job anymore. You wouldn't need to commute 2 hours to and from work. You wouldn't need to miss your kids' soccer games on the weekends. You would have enough cash flow coming in from your rental properties to live. This isn't even getting into the fact that once you become an investor, now you're in a whole other tax bracket. You know, as a W-2 employee, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, when you work for somebody else, you're in the highest tax bracket, buddy. It's true. The government does not value you. I'm sorry to say it. Look up the tax code. The government does not reward those who work for other people. It's the truth. That's why Warren Buffett always famously says that his secretary pays more in taxes than he does. Why? He's an entrepreneur and an investor. He's a business owner and an investor. Totally different tax bracket. He's taxed on passive income. He's taxed on his portfolio income from his stocks. As a real estate investor, I'm not taxed the same way that someone who works for somebody else in a W-2 job. I don't have a payroll tax. I don't. The government doesn't take money out of my paycheck because I don't have a paycheck. You see how that works? It's totally different. And this is just the beginning, folks. As you dive deeper here into this channel, you'll learn all of these tax strategies. But I want to keep it light at the beginning. I just want you to understand that once you shift from a W-2 employee to an investor, a business owner who invests in real estate, you change the game forever. You change your family's future, and it's all greener pastures from there. Take my word for it. So once you have all of these numbers down on paper, that is your financial freedom number. I want you to put that number on your refrigerator. I want you to put it on your monitor of your computer. I want you to put it on your bathroom mirror. So every morning you see this number. It's $4,500. It's $7,000. We've talked to clients who worked with us that at Morris Invest who, you know, their freedom number is $2,000. With 2 rental properties, they are now financially free. For some people, it's $12,000. I know mine was larger. I have 3 kids now. I lived in a very expensive state of New Jersey. Property taxes were through the roof. I had very high expenses in that state. I don't live there anymore, thank God. But I did at one point. And my freedom number was higher. It was about $12,000 a month for me to live, pay my car payments, all of those things. What I started to do was notice all of that on paper. I started to whittle down my expenses, and I figured out how many rental properties it would take me to get to that financial freedom number so that every month, month after month, I had cash flow coming in from rental properties that helped me live securely and financially free. And I never had to worry about losing my job ever again. Because if I did, okay, I liked my job. I enjoyed what I was doing in the television world, but I'm okay now. That's fine. You don't want me anymore? That's fine. I got passive income, baby, and so can you. Okay, now that we've figured out our why, now that we understand our financial freedom number, we've got that tattooed on our forehead, right? The next step is we want to figure out what track we want to take. There's multiple different roads that you can take in real estate investing. What will it be for you? So at our company, at Morris Invest, we have over 7 different programs that we work with clients on. So when someone books a call with us, there's not a one-size-fits-all approach. And this is the same for you. So I want you to figure this out for yourself. What will it be? So let me take you through 7 different programs that we have internally, and these are the same 7 programs that you should be figuring out for yourself. And you might actually have a blending of a few of them. But there's not a one-size-fits-all, so every person is different. That's why we do a 30-minute phone call with people, because we need to figure out which bucket they might fit into. And we can help them, with a blending of a couple of these different buckets. All right, enough with the bucket analogy. Let's talk about these different roads. So maybe you don't have a lot of money to start. Now, if you understand that at the beginning, you don't have enough money for, say, a down payment on a rental property, and money is a bit of a struggle for you right now, well, there's a couple of different things that you can do, right? You might not be ready to jump headlong into real estate investing just yet. You may have to get your finances in order first. You may have to start to educate yourself financially. I really believe that that is the first track. So I don't want you to jump headfirst into real estate investing and, screw up. I want you to understand what a balance sheet is. I want you to understand why passive income and performing assets are the true way to build wealth. Not owning liabilities, not owning a house that you live in, not paying for cars and car payments. So financial intelligence is the first track. And we actually built a whole program called the Financial Freedom Academy. My wife and I, Natalie and I, we built this great program, 10 modules with multiple bonuses. We have an amazing Facebook private group for our Financial Freedom Academy members. And we take people step by step through financial intelligence training. So that might be you. You might be starting at that place, and that's okay. But I would recommend, if it's not the Financial Freedom Academy that you join, it's a book. Start diving into some books. Get educated. Read Tom Wheelwright's amazing book, Tax-Free Wealth. Read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Read our book, How to Pay Off Your Mortgage in 5 Years. That book is not just about paying off your mortgage, it's a deep dive on what all the hidden fees are inside of a mortgage, inside of the financial products that you're being sold on a regular basis. I want you to do all of this before you start going headlong into this process. Because look, we were never taught this in school. We were never taught how to be financially literate in school. I think the only thing I ever learned in high school was how to balance a checkbook. What good is that? No one even uses checks anymore. And by the way, if you're the person that stands at a grocery store and writes a check, come on, you're holding up the whole line. So that's all I was taught in high school. I had to spend 20 years educating myself on finance before I could start to build wealth, before I started investing in real estate. So if you join the Financial Freedom Academy, we have a link below to that, great. If you're beyond that, if you've already moved financially beyond that, great, that's helpful too. One of our Academy members, he now owns, I think, 22 rental properties. 22 rental properties. When he came to us, he's a brilliant guy, a software developer. He's a fantastic, very, very intelligent person. He said, Clayton, before I joined the Financial Freedom Academy, I didn't even know what a balance sheet was. And he ran his own business. He ran his own software development company. He didn't know what a balance sheet was. And now he had gone through the Financial Freedom Academy. He owns 22 rental properties. His life has totally changed. So you can do that. Great. We'd love to have you. If you don't join that, please educate yourself. Watch more of our videos here. Read books. Start to build that track. That's an incredibly important track on this journey. I just want to take a quick moment here and say, if you're not a subscriber to our channel, please subscribe. We have tons of great videos here to help you become a real estate investor. That's a little PSA moment for me. I just wanted to say, subscribe to our channel. The next program that we have is a portfolio partnership. And so this might be of value to you. So we will work with clients at Morris Invest all the time that have a little bit of money, but not a lot. And they have friends that also want to invest in real estate, and they don't have a lot of money either. So what they do is they're able to come together as a team, form an LLC, which is very inexpensive and easy to do, and we help people do it all the time. But you may consider investing in real estate with a partner, okay? You don't have to do it all yourself. You can partner with multiple friends, multiple business associates. Come together, you each put $5,000, $10,000 into the mix as a down payment, and guess what? You buy a rental property together. You get the benefits of that group dynamic. It enables you to get passive income rolling. You started a business, you're entering an entirely different tax bracket, and you didn't have to do it all on your own. So that's the second track. You might not have enough money. You might have a lot of money and say, you know what, this is a better way for me to do it. I can just join up with my friends and do it separately. That's a great thing to think about. So a portfolio approach to real estate might be the answer for you. Now, another track is cost segregation. Now, this is high level stuff, folks. This is where you may say, I want to buy a new construction rental property or multiple properties, and I want to take the tax benefits of being able to accelerate my depreciation in this calendar year for taxes. Maybe you're coming into this program because you know what? Oh my gosh, I'm going to pay so much in taxes. We have doctors that we work with. We have lawyers that we work with. We have dentists that we work with, that they're going to be hit with a massive tax bill in this calendar year. And so when we teach them that they're able to accelerate their depreciation of buying an asset in this calendar year, they're blown away by it. It's called cost segregation. So they could essentially put $45,000 down on a rental property, own a $200,000, $300,000 valued rental property, and because of the tax benefits of doing a cost segregation analysis that we do and provide them at closing, they're able to basically get the entire down payment back on their taxes because they're accelerating that depreciation. It's not easy to do, but it's a program that you may be considering. So you might be a busy doctor, you might be a busy lawyer, you don't have time to go out and do all of these different pieces yourself. Investing in real estate might be the answer for you in order to build financial freedom in a way you didn't know was possible. You're paying so much in taxes as a doctor or another high net worth individual. You didn't think it was possible to get this kind of money back on your taxes. It is with cost segregation. So again, another possible track for you. And you see how we're blending some of these? You can get the benefits of cost segregation by also partnering with your friends and buying a rental property. You see how this works? Like Lego pieces. You can put all of these things together. So you might be on one track, but you might be on multiple tracks that all come together in one place. Another track is the self-direction track. You might be sitting on a 401k plan or another IRA that's just sitting there languishing, not doing anything, and you thought, I can't do anything with this. Aha! Yes, you can. You can self-direct yourself. You can invest in real estate inside of a retirement vehicle. Now, the power of self-direction, folks, it's otherworldly. We've got whole articles on our website, and I'll link them below that you can read on the power of self-directed real estate. Truly self-directed, where a custodian helps you set up the account and you control your destiny. You're not paying crazy fees to any financial institution. You are able to take that money and invest it in things like real estate, gold, silver, whatever you want. I would encourage you to do it in real estate because that becomes tax-free growth. Imagine having that property that's owned by your self-directed IRA, and every month that cash flow from the tenant grows and grows and grows. And guess what? It grows tax-free because it's a tax-free vehicle in the self-direction. Then by the time you retire, you take it out, you live off of that income tax-free. It's a powerful, powerful tool. So you might be sitting again on an old retirement account that's just sitting there. And guess what? You can use that old retirement account as a portion of a down payment. So you don't necessarily just have to use the retirement account. You could use $40,000, $50,000 from the retirement account and then use financing for the other portion of the closing. This is the power of having financial intelligence. You can pull all of these things together. Use a portion of your retirement account for a down payment, financing the rest. And another piece of this is non-recourse financing. This is like the holy grail of financing. I love non-recourse financing. We've been doing it for years at our company, and some of our clients are blown away. They've never even heard of it. What we've done is partnered with banks. It's taken a long number of years to partner and come together with banks that will do this. What basically they're doing is they're going to back the asset itself and not you. So they are going to provide financing on the asset itself, not your personal name. They basically don't care about you, the borrower. They care about the asset. It's non-recourse, meaning there's no recourse to you. It's not going to affect your personal credit. So you are able to buy a house with the bank saying, hey, we've already looked at this house. We think it's a great asset. We're going to actually provide financing on the house itself. Maybe your credit's not so good. It doesn't matter. Maybe you live internationally. It doesn't matter. You don't have credit set up in the United States. Non-recourse financing is available, and you can also combine it with your self-directed IRA. See how all these pieces come together? So a lot of times we talk to clients for the first time on the phone, and they don't even know that they have some of these tools available to them. They think they have to call up a realtor, use traditional financing, and that's it. There are so many other options out there. That's why I wanted to bring all of these different strategies that are out there available to you. So you can pick and pull from different strategies and put them together like one big Lego thing, one big Lego monster to start you on your path to financial freedom. You can do it. You don't have to rely on just one method. One of the other programs that we work with internally is when we have a client that comes to us that needs a 1031 exchange. Now, maybe years ago they invested in something that wasn't so good. They invested in real estate and they didn't do it correctly. So they come to us and they want a new construction property that is already cash flowing with a tenant. That's what we do. So we're able to say, okay, you're selling off these other 5 properties in California or wherever. They're way overpriced. You're going to sell them off. And a 1031 exchange allows you to trade, basically, those properties for like-kind assets. Trade those for better cash-flowing properties. This is one of the biggest mechanisms and tools that has made people millionaires, is the 1031 exchange. So you're able to sell off those 5 properties for $1 million in California, take that $1 million and roll it into, say, 10 or 15 properties that are cash flowing at a higher return on investment. Now, 1031 exchanges can be a little complex with the timing. That's why our team does a great job with it. But this might be your situation where you inherited a property a number of years ago from your family. You have a couple of low performing properties that just aren't doing very well, and you want to basically sell them, transfer that wealth without paying taxes. This is the beauty of the 1031 exchange. Transfer that money into better performing real estate. It's the power of the 1031 exchange. And the best part is you can keep doing it over and over and over again, and even hand it down to your kids so they get the tax benefits of the 1031 exchange. Again, if people want to say the rich get richer, this is how they do it, using a 1031 exchange. So that might be you. Let me give you an example. Years ago, we had a client who, he had a number of properties in Arizona, and he called me and he said, Clayton, I have these properties. They do not get the type of return on investment that I could get with your properties and what you guys do. I bought these years ago. I overpaid for them in Arizona. They were each like $400,000. The ROI is terrible. I just want out of these things. I'd like to do a 1031 exchange. So we'd set him up with a 1031 exchange where he was able to take these terribly performing, overpriced Arizona properties, transfer it into higher return, cash flowing, new construction rental properties where he now got way more bang for his buck, and he didn't have to pay taxes on the sale of those properties. He was able to 1031 exchange for new rental properties. That might be you. So that's another possible strategy that you might be sitting in. Now, these are a bunch of the different ones I want to talk about. I want you to see where you might fit into it. Maybe you're not ready to invest yet. You need that financial intelligence. Maybe you don't have enough money. You need to partner with a friend. Maybe you have a lot of money and you're paying too much in taxes, and you want a cost segregation on a new rental property that'll save you a boatload in taxes. Maybe you've got some crappy old rental properties that you want to get rid of and go through a 1031 exchange program. Maybe you've got a retirement account that you're sitting on, an IRA that is not doing anything in the stock market, and you want to get it into real performing assets. All of these different programs are what are available to you and what you should be thinking about how you can pick and manage all of these together. By the way, all 7 of these programs are exactly what we do at our company, and we're able to help you do it if you need that help. We're right here and available. We'll have a link below that you can book a call with us. The next stage of your financial freedom journey is deciding whether or not you want to do this yourself or invest in a team. Now, Tom Wheelwright is one of the smartest accountants in the world. He's our personal tax accountant, brilliant guy. He's also the tax accountant for Robert Kiyosaki. An amazingly brilliant guy. He has written the book Tax-Free Wealth, and we have a link on our website called Lower Taxes if you're interested in learning more about his team at Wealthability. Tom believes in the power of a team. So does Robert Kiyosaki, and so do I. I could never do what we do on our own. We have a massive team at our company. We have our contractors, right? Which we've spent years vetting. We have our property management teams that we work with, that we spend a long time vetting and seeing before we ever even work with them. We need to know a number of things. Number one, have they been in business for 5 years? What type of communication do they have? What's their vacancy rate? All of these pieces we look at to determine what goes into a good property manager. Our accounting team, we don't do it ourselves. We don't do our taxes ourselves. Heavens, that would be awful. Right? We have amazing bankers that we work with. Our financial partners, we have over 60 different lenders that we work with. We have our non-recourse lenders. We have our traditional lenders. We have our special accountants who do cost segregation analysis for us when we build a property so that we can get that tax deduction in this calendar year. So the next question you want to ask yourself on this financial freedom journey is, do you want to do this yourself, or do you want to invest in a team? Now, you can invest in yourself. And I think this is a powerful, it's an empowering thing to do. That you're sitting there watching this video right now and you said, you know what? I want to do what Clayton does. I want to build a team, okay? I want to go out and find properties. I want to hire contractors myself. I want to work with property managers. I want to go out and find properties and then renovate them myself on the weekends. I want to do all of that. Great. You need to be clear about this. Okay, do you want to do this yourself? If the answer is yes, then I want you to pay attention to what I'm about to tell you and all of the pieces you'll need to put in place to make this happen. If you want to invest in a team, like working with us, then we've already done all that heavy lifting. So that's easy, right? You can work with us. We've already put all of these pieces in place. But I want to play something from Tom Wheelwright. He's our tax accountant. He's Robert Kiyosaki's tax accountant. He's the author of the book and a Rich Dad Advisor. He wrote the book Tax-Free Wealth. He's a genius. Smartest accountant in the world. We, in fact, have a whole website tab on our website at Morris Invest devoted to him. It's called Lower Taxes. If you're interested in what his team at Wealthability does, go check them out. They're the best real estate tax accounting team in the world. So check them out. One thing that Tom believes, I believe, Robert believes, you cannot do this alone. You need people around you who are smarter than you. You know, I'm the dumbest guy in the room. I've got accountants who are way smarter than me. I've got contractors who are way smarter than me with a hammer and putting up drywall. I would never know how to do that. You need to surround yourself with smarter people than you. So listen to what Tom Wheelwright believes about the power of building a team. Listen.
Leveraging a team is so much more important than leveraging money. Leveraging money is great, but if you want real leverage, you're going to leverage a team, who they know, what they know, what they can find. You want growth, you want better investments. Don't be doing it all yourself. Go find somebody else.
Okay, so you've decided that you want to build a team. Great. What do you need to do to be successful for real estate and building a financial freedom team? I consider it like a financial freedom army. We have over 30 years experience with my team. Over 700 people work on our team. From our banking team, we have our finance team. We work with over 70 different lending companies. 70. That includes our cost segregation teams and our traditional lenders. That includes our property management teams that we work with, our contractors, our boots on the ground. Everyone in our team is a vital piece of this whole process, and you need to do it right. So let's start with property management. What will you need to do to get property managers? First of all, one of the things that we do is we'll spend a long time. In every market we go into, we'll spend months vetting different property management companies. Okay, over the years, we've had some bad ones. We've dealt with some in the past, and that's trained us, that's honed our skills, so we know what to look for. Have they been in business for 5 years minimum? Do they have great communication skills? What type of software and services do they use to communicate with their clients? Do they have AppFolio or something else that lets them input leases, categorize and make sure that all rental income is being taken care of? How do they screen their tenants? Do they do background checks on their tenants? Another big question I have is vacancy rate. What is the vacancy rate in your town? Why is your vacancy rate as a property manager higher than the town itself? That makes no sense. Are you able to get discounts from your property managers? Probably not. We are able to at scale because we have so many clients that work with us that we're able to continually send them regular business. We're able to negotiate and get those numbers down for our clients so they're paying less in property management fees. So all of these things go into understanding and finding good property managers. Don't screw that part up. Contractors, do you have a long-term relationship with contractors that you can build? Because we do so many properties and build so many properties from the ground up, we have a great relationship with our contractors. Are you going to find a contractor who's going to rip you off? They know that you're just a fly-by-night investor who doesn't want to build a long-term relationship, so they might overcharge you. What are the costs that go into renovating this house or building this house from the ground up? What about furnaces? What about all of these other pieces? Are you able to get discounts on these things because you have relationships with vendors? What about lenders? You have to create conversations and relationships with financiers and bankers in your towns. Develop those relationships. Go out to local meetup groups. Spend the time talking with these individuals and developing these relationships so that you can continually be able to get funding on your rental properties. Look, if you know your freedom number is 12 rental properties, but traditional lenders only enable you to get 10 under your own name, that's federal law. Well, what are you going to do about the other 2 properties you need to get for your financial freedom number? How do you build non-recourse financing relationships with bankers? All of these things are incredibly important. So developing relationships with multiple lenders is vital for your success in real estate investing. What about insurance companies, title companies? All of these pieces come together in real estate investing. And I just implore you, it's incredibly important to build a really strong network. So if you want to invest in this and you want to do it properly and build your own team, do it right. You know, Robert Kiyosaki wrote a great book. In fact, I interviewed him about this very subject. It's called More Important Than Money, and it's a book about building a team that, you know, money will follow once you build a great team. And having these people around you that are smarter than you, your lawyers, your accountants, your contractors, your property management teams, your boots on the ground scouts to find properties, all of these things make for a successful person. And then finally, the last big piece I think is vital is knowing where to look in a market for rental properties. You know, I always say the best properties are not in your backyard. Chances are, unless you live in the top landlord-friendly rental markets in the country, like where we invest and build our properties in Tennessee and Texas and other areas, and we're constantly analyzing markets. Unless you live in those areas, they're not going to be in your backyard. You know, we have so many investors from California, they're like, I can't buy a rental property here. It's like $1 million and the ROI would be terrible. You need to understand markets. Now, we've got a lot of videos here on the channel that teach you about the best rental markets, the most landlord-friendly rental markets. And, you know, we spend almost a year, 8 to 12 months, analyzing a market before we go into it. So let me give you the secret. So what we look for before we even start breaking ground or renovating properties, write these down, okay? These are vital pieces of information for you to consider when looking for a market to invest. Number one, I want to know that there's low crime. I don't want crime going up in the city that I'm going to invest. That's a data piece that we always want to look at. Vacancy rates. I want to make sure that vacancy rates are low. Right now, we are at an affordable housing crisis in the United States. We have such incredible demand for housing that if you have a high vacancy rate, something must be wrong. That town must be not a smart place to invest. Let me give you an example. One of our rental properties, if we have a vacancy in one of our rental properties, chances are it's going to be filled within 2 weeks with a new tenant in that property. I mean, because there's such demand. So I want to make sure that that vacancy rate is low. And that goes again back to my property management question, right? If I'm talking to a new potential property manager, I want to have that relationship and confidence that I can ask them, you know, what is your vacancy rate? And if they tell me it's 4% and the town's vacancy rate is like 2%, something's out of whack. Like, why are you guys not filling properties here? What's going on over here? And also here, you know, if the vacancy rate is high, I don't want to be investing in that town. Something's wrong. You know, maybe there's only one job or one employer in that town, and that could be a problem. So that's another data point I want to look at. Number three is, what does the employment look like? Is there a diversity of jobs in this town? So where we build our properties, you know, in Texas and other spots, we make sure with the universities, hospitals, jobs that are not going to China, not going to Mexico, they are there and they are staying there. Fortune 500 companies that are moving into town. I want to see employment, and I want to see a diversity of employment. I do not want to see, you know, one oil refinery in one town or one Walmart and everyone works at that Walmart. What happens if that Walmart goes out of business? What happens if that oil refinery goes out of business? We certainly saw that during the COVID crisis, right? That when you had all of these oil, you know, all of these oil tycoons suddenly drying up and they were having to give oil away, I don't want my entire, you know, employment, I don't want my tenants relying on one employer towns. So please make sure that there's a diversity of employment in your town. I also want to look at population increase, okay? So when we're analyzing a market between 8 to 12 months, we're studying these metrics before we ever move into a market. That I want to know and make sure that people are moving there instead of moving out of there. So if we have a population exodus, that's a huge problem. So right now, let's just talk about some of the numbers right now in America. I mean, people are leaving big cities. I'm glad I'm not an investor in big cities. No way, no way. People are moving out of Miami, New York City, San Francisco. They're moving out of Chicago, Denver. They're leaving. And landlords there are going to have to really lower their rent. They're going to have to give a couple of months of rent away for free, encouraging people to move to the city. It's not good news. Now everyone knows they can work from home. Why in the world would they need to get on a subway in New York City? So I am not a big city investor, and that's a thing that you need to be focused on. Are people leaving or are they coming? I want to be in areas that are inexpensive, they've got job growth, low crime, low vacancy rate, and a diversity of jobs. Another thing you need to consider in this day and age is also, is it pandemic proof? You know, in the areas that we invest and are building our properties, you know, CNBC named them one of the top 10 recession-resistant cities in the country. Why? Because there's such a diversity of American-based jobs that aren't going anywhere. Hospitals aren't going anywhere. Universities aren't going anywhere. All of those jobs that are available aren't going anywhere. They have lower taxes, no state income tax. So these are all incentives for companies to move there, moving out of those high tax states like California, New Jersey, New York, and moving into states where I like to invest. So you want to make sure that you're investing in pandemic-proof areas also, areas that aren't relying on tourism. So I'm not investing in Las Vegas. We saw what happened, you know, during the pandemic. The whole place shut down. Same with Florida. When, you know, if you were an investor in Orlando that relied on Disney and all of these other theme parks, and then you had a pandemic that hit or something else like that that's relying on tourism, you got to be very, very careful. So I don't invest in areas that rely heavily on tourism now. That's another added layer that I've added into my criteria for investing. Another very important piece when you're looking for markets. So I encourage you, if you're going to do this yourself and you're going to build your own team, you need to spend the time going through the data, going through the census data, looking at population growth or exodus, crime data, looking at vacancy rates in these particular areas. All of these things you want to be studying very, very deeply, because any one of these metrics is off. You know, you just ignore crime, or you ignore job growth, or you ignore vacancy rates, or you ignore tourism, they can all come back to bite you in the butt. So pay attention to that. So all of this to say, I want you to be successful putting all of these pieces in place first before you go out and start investing in real estate. Put all of these pieces in place first to chart your why, to build your own team, to get serious before you start investing. Really understanding what track and path is right for you and take action in that way. You know, if you want someone else to do it all for you and rely on a team that's already done it, that's what we do. So if you don't have the time, you don't want to build a team and spend 2 years doing that. You don't want to have to analyze markets and hire contractors and vet property managers and all of those things. Then that's what our team does at Morris Invest. You can book a call with us right now. Just go to morrisinvest.com, click on the book a call button. We'll jump on the phone with you for 30 minutes. We'll take you through our process. We'll see which of the 7 programs is right for you. You know, cost segregation, is it 1031 exchange, self-directed IRA, or just straight up cash purchase of a property? We'll show you what we do. We've got a great team. We've been doing it for a very long time, and we have many, many happy clients. You can check out our full reviews page right on our website if you want more information about everything that we do. But the bottom line is, I want you to take action. I want you to become a real estate investor. I believe it's the #1 way to build wealth, everyone. Book a call with us or check out all the resources below in our description. We'll see you next time, everyone.